حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيدا والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنام وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the magnificent, the beneficent, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send copious, unlimited, eternal blessings upon our beloved Prophet Sayyidina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and we acknowledge and recognize that the land in which we hold this class is Aboriginal land, and we pay our respects to their elders past and present. So if we continue what the Imam said, it says, قال المؤلف رحمه الله رضي الله عنه وعنكم نفعنا به وبكم وعليك إذا أثنى عليك أحد بكراهة الثناء بقلبك. When someone praises you, it's 97, last paragraph. When someone praises you, you must feel dislike for this praise within your heart. So this is the kind of other side of the coin. This is the other side of the coin. Someone sees you, oh man, you've been working out, looking buff there, whatever, looking solid, whatever they tell you. The other way around, whatever, looking smooth, looking well dressed, whatever the case might be. That's outward, exterior. Someone says, oh man, the guy's a pious guy, she's a pious woman. She's a righteous lady, she's a salihah, she's a mu'minah, she's got taqwa, whatever the case might be. So the reason why we hate that in our heart, in essence, is because al-thana'u lillah. Al-thana' means praise. And we say, alhamdu lillah. We don't say alhamdulillah, we say alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah means all of praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we look at the meaning of that, so if someone's praising you for something, or you hit whatever, like I said, taqwa, someone's got that consciousness of Allah, or righteousness, salah, they don't do haram, inshallah, they stay away from haram, all these things, they do halal. In essence, where is that from? It's tawfiq min Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And without Allah, could a person do it? Impossible. Without Allah, it wouldn't even exist. So in reality, when we say alhamdulillah about whatever circumstance, we're giving thana, we're praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for who He is. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the essence of alhamd. Then another lesser version of alhamd, or lesser definition, is we're thanking Allah for husn al-jaza. We're thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the benefit that we've gained from Allah's grace or mercy or favor. So they're two separate things. You get the difference? One is Allah's great, that's it. No one else deserves to be praised except Him because of who He is subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second lesser one is to thank Allah for what He's given. But both of those two relate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anyway. So that's why we don't like to be praised. We like that people praise Allah. That's why things like birthdays and all these things, that's the reality of why we don't celebrate. Plus, it's not from the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah. It's not haram, depending on what you do. And maybe it's a question for another day. But what is it? On Facebook, whatever, they put their birthday, whatever it is, and they're very happy, when someone sends likes or happy birthday, they get, I feel special. You should feel special every day, especially if you're a believer. If not, at least the person's from the ummah of the Prophet of Allah, and they're from the best of creation, the human beings. That's something to feel special about, is it not? Someone's a believer, in other words, someone not only practices what's halal and haram, but they believe in their heart with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the angels, the books, the prophets, etc. That's what should make a person feel special if they want to feel special. Should they want to feel special. So the other aspect of that is that when we are praised, it gets to our nafs, it makes us feel good. And that's what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, the feelings. If we did things just for the sake of feelings, we wouldn't do most of the things we do, and we do things that we should never do. Even when, as an example, which we'll talk about a little bit later, the feeling of hunger. If we're eating just to get rid of that feeling, then like me will be overweight. It's not a good thing. But if we're eating to please Allah Azza wa Jal, to follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, to give our body strength to worship Allah Azza wa Jal, to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves, to emulate the Prophet of Allah. That's a different story. So yes, it's still the same. Physically speaking, it's still the same. But the benefit, the blessing that will come with that food will change a person's life, will change a person's body, will turn the food that could have made a person become sick into food that will make a person healthy. From food that would have sent someone to dhulm or dalala, to darkness or to misguidance, will turn into food that will enlighten and illuminate a person and send them to righteousness with the intention. With the intention. So we don't want to get ourselves into a situation where our nufus, the feeling, someone praises me, I feel good, I do good. Someone doesn't praise me, I'm okay. Someone talks bad about me, that's it, depression, anxiety. Why? So the words of people, in reality to the believer, لَا يَرْضُرُّهُمْ إِلَّا أَذَى. The only harm they should cause is whatever, it's sticks and stones type thing. Not saying that we can all do it. Some people can, some people can't. The reality is of the believer, the stronger their belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the stronger their conviction in Allah Azza wa Jal, the less these exterior circumstances will affect them. I'll tell you a story about Shaykh Tej one time. When the cat and the meat and all that business happened in the mosque back in the day, he was on the front page of all the major newspapers for days, and all the TVs. There was something behind it, try and get rid of him, whatever the case was. Anyway, then one day we saw him, and there was a media scrum outside the mosque. We said, "Shaykh, jump in the car." He jumped in the car. As soon as he jumped in the car, picked up the phone, he called a sister. He says, yeah, what does he say? You should do, your grandfather. Don't worry about what's going on. Go back to your dad, go back home, and I'll fix it with your dad. So the whole world was on his back. Imagine everywhere you go, if he goes to the supermarket, if he goes wherever to fill up petrol, he goes for a walk, people see him, they go, that's that bloke in the newspaper. That's that bloke on TV that said and did and whatever. And what was he concerned about? Others. He concerned about others. Because the stronger a person's faith is in Allah Azza wa Jal, in reality they can understand the wisdom of the trial they're being placed in. That's the real thubut, so to speak. That's the real steadfastness. To understand why Allah Azza wa Jal has put them in that situation. The second part of it is to surrender that. I could have, I should have. If someone was lit, they could have jumped in the car. Man, where were you? Where's my media people? Where's my PR people? How come the Muslims haven't got this? How come the community hasn't got that? That's not accepting the situation. And the third is to act in accordance and have patience, as-sabr ala al-bala, to be patient with regards to the trials and tribulations that a person's been put into. And that should be all our events in our life. We're a bit hungry. Wait a minute. The house is going to start to shake. Where's the food? How come? I work hard all day. Whatever. This and that and that. I want to buy what I want. There's not enough money. Why? You're a terrible provider. Except so-and-so's got it. How come I can't have it? Everyone's going to laugh. Whatever the case might be. So whatever our circumstance is, to understand the hikmah of Allah, to accept it, and then to persevere during that trial, that tribulation, that difficulty, however it may be. So, in terms of the nufus, when it's based on praise, when we judge ourselves according to how silly is that? Like just on a side point, we're already on a side point, on a side point, okay? How silly is that? Who knows you better than you? Except Allah. Who knows you better than you? You know yourself. If you don't, something wrong. So you hang, or me, or we hang on the words of others who don't even really know us. So if someone puts me down, whatever, the guy doesn't know anything, he's terrible, doesn't, whatever, they can't read English properly, whatever they say. Well, don't I know if I can read properly? Don't I know what I do when no one's around? Don't I know what I think when no one's around? Of course. So why should their words affect me? If it's true what they say, alhamdulillah, they showed me, they reminded me of something that's bad in me. Make tawbah and that'll come up. Make tawbah and change. Big deal. I change. No, yeah. And if someone's the other way, oh, mashallah, the guy's this and he's so generous. Every month he gives $10,000 fi sabilillah. Well, I don't give nothing like that. What are you talking about? Oh, now it's going to make me feel good because someone, oh no, I don't do it. Oh no, I don't give $10,000 fi sabilillah. Every month, I wish. Right? But it's going to make me feel good because someone complimented me. That's wishy-washy. That's not iman. That's da'f. That's weakness. And that's the road to destruction when Allah. So someone's going to know me better than I know myself. Who knows your bank account details? I bet you know. I bet even your husband, wife, mother, father, brother doesn't even know what they are. So if we're hanging on the words of others, we're going to be like this. We want to go like Sirat al-Mustaqim. And that can only be achieved by full conviction of Allah Azza wa Jal and working towards that, and emulation of the Prophet of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam, understand the situation in which we live in. So we don't take credit for something. Someone compliments us, it's Allah. And then he says, the Imam tells us what we should do. ثم إن أثنى عليك بما فيك فقل الحمد لله الذي أظهر الجميل وستر القبيح. So he says on bottom of 97, if he has praised you for something you truly possess, say, praise belongs to God who has revealed the good things and concealed the qabih, the ugly things, or the detestable things, or the reprehensible things. Okay?
Repeating that again.
It says, Alhamdulillah alladhi adhhara al-jameel wa satara al-qabih. So, if they say, MashaAllah, the guy is, whatever, intelligent, or he's good at maths. Is that a compliment? I don't know. Good at maths, for example. Right? And you are good at maths. Then you say that. Alhamdulillah, praise Allah Azza wa Jal, that He has adhara, He has revealed or showed or exposed the dhahara, manifested the good things, and concealed the ugly, detestable things. It's a blessing, if that thing is truly in you. وإن أثنى عليك بما ليس فيك فقل كما قال بعض السلف اللهم لا تؤاخذني بما يقولون واغفر لي ما لا يعلمون واجعلني خيرا مما يظنون. And if he praises you for something which you do not possess, say as one of our Ba'd doesn't mean one. Some of our predecessors has said, or have said, O God, do not call me to account for what they say. Forgive me that they do not know. Forgive me what they do not know, and make me better than they think. Because if you've got a quality, you're going to be asked about it. That's the first one of it. لا تؤاخذني نعم لا تؤاخذني بما يقولون. Ya Allah, don't hold me to account. Pardon me for what they say. Is that if you got a quality, you're good at maths, got to use it. Got to use it, like Ibn Hayyan or al-Khawarizmi or any of these guys that they were scholars and they developed algorithms and mathematical. I'm terrible at maths, as you can tell. So equations and whatever it is to work out how the world works. To make things like computers, digital numbers and all these types of things. But the way that we live today is based on their ijtihadat, their striving to understand the meanings of the world and the meanings of the deen. So if you've got a quality, maybe you're a good talker, well, it's up to you to give da'wah if that's the case. Learn something about your deen. Maybe your prayer's accepted. Your mustajab al-du'a. You're going to sit around and do dhikr all day if you've got mustajab al-du'a. You do some dhikr, do some remembrance of Allah, but the majority of time has to be making dua, because your dua is accepted. Alright, you're a qari, you're a reciter of the Qur'an. You don't just read ilm all day. You do read some ilm, you read some knowledge, but you've got to use it. You've got to recite the Qur'an, or to teach the Qur'an, or whatever the case might be. So whatever good quality Allah has given you, that's the difficulty. We want to have good qualities. Everyone wants to be the best, but then what are you going to do with it? It's got to be used. Otherwise, Allah's going to say, wait a minute, I gave you that for a reason. I'll just give it to you so you can brag about it. Nah, I give it to you to help humanity, to make the world a peaceful, a just place, as we spoke about previously, and a place where people can attain truth through whatever gift that it is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Where is it? Allahumma la tu'akhidni bima yaqulun waghfir li ma la ya'lamun. Allah, and forgive me for that which they don't know about me. They're saying that, but I don't have that quality of Allah, so don't take me to account on it. وَاجْعَلْنِي خَيْرًا مِمَّا يَظُنُّونَ, and make me better than what they... Dhan is about doubt. So they've given you the benefit of the doubt. Ya Allah, make me better than that doubt. What a great dua. So it's not from the Prophet of ﷺ, but some of the pious predecessors, that's the type of thing they used to say. It says, وَأَمَّا أنت فلا تثنى على أحد إلا إن علمت أنه يزداد بثنائك نشاطه في الخير. This is a really important point. It says, so the top of 98, the first paragraph, in your case, do not praise anyone unless you know that your praises will entice him to do more good works. And then he also, let's just stick to that one. Okay? So, sometimes, and the Arabs are pretty good at this type of thing, they're just, this person, the Pakistanis are even better at it. That's my experience, if they introduce you to someone, this is so-and-so, and he studied at this university, and he's got this degree, and he worked for these companies, now he's in charge of this, and that's the way they introduce themselves to each other. That's their culture. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing either, because in the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Anzilun nas fi manazilihim." Put people in their respective levels, of achievement in terms of what they've done, even if it's a worldly thing, right? But the praise, the madah, the word is in Arabic, like the unit of thana is the word that the Imams used. If you're going to give someone a compliment, if you're going to compliment someone, there's got to be a reason behind it. You just go around compliment, look in this. What's the reason? Are you trying to get their nafs up? There's a hadith that says, don't matamdah akhuk, if you don't praise or compliment your brother, it's like killing him. Why is it like killing him? The Prophet said, alayhi wasallam, because the nafs grows. I'm this, I'm that, I've done this, I've done that. Natural, it's the natural thing. And what happens when a person feels they're accomplished?
They get proud. They become proud.
They become proud. And when someone becomes proud,
they stop doing good.
Right? They stop doing good deeds, or they rest on their laurels. Last week that guy was saying whatever he was saying about me. I'm alright. I'm okay. I'm saved, basically. Now, who's that person to save you? Only Allah's going to save you, or the Prophet of Allah with his intercession. Other than that, unlikely. So, when we give praise, for example, one of the mashayikh, he was fi sabilillah, and then they met a Muslim guy, and the younger guy started talking to him. Oh, how are you, brother? This and that. We're at the mosque. Oh, he goes, I don't go to the mosque. And then they started talking. We pray that I don't pray. Oh, Ramadan's coming. I don't fast. Everything they said about Islam, he denied the whole thing, and they didn't know where to go. So what did the Shaykh say to him? He goes, I've never seen someone as honest as you. He said to the young bloke, I've never seen someone as honest as you. You're the most honest person I've ever. See how that's how a Muslim should be. And then it wasn't that he felt proud. No, he felt connected. He felt connected. He felt that someone had recognized in him a quality that Allah likes and the Prophet likes. And that's what he said. He said that was one of the names of the Prophet of Allah, as-Sadiq. And you've got that similar quality. And the guy felt encouraged to practice the faith. He felt encouraged to be connected to Allah Azza wa Jal and the Prophet of Allah alayhi wasallam. So that's really what we should limit our compliments, so to speak, to. And it doesn't mean Muslim or non-Muslim. And if you want to talk to someone, da'wah-wise, it's good to compliment them, especially if you're not very familiar with the person, even about their watch or their ring or their whatever it might be. Because people like to be praised, and it's a way into someone's heart, because they open their, oh yeah, nice watch, yeah, I've had this watch for like 10 years, my grandfather, whatever, my father's something behind it, my wife got it for me for whatever, it was for my sister, whatever the story is. And that's in for you. So the compliment is for a reason. Compliment is for, inshallah, to get them close to Allah Azza wa Jal. أو كان فاضلا لا يعرف فضله فأثنيت عليه للتعريف بفضله بشرط السلامة من الكذب في جهتك. He says, or unless he is a superior man whose superiority is not well known, and you wish to make it so, this being on condition that you are safe from lying and he is safe from conceit. So there's two things. That's the second part. So the safe, we didn't read that part. Okay? So you're with someone, whatever, Shaykh so-and-so, but he's been gardening in the garden and you picked him up and whatever the story is, took him somewhere. Well, this is Shaykh so-and-so, he was Imam at this mosque, he studied here, that's okay. As long as the condition is, as long as you don't lie, and when they say lying, al-kadhib, it means embellishing. In other words, making it bigger than it is. Oh, he's Imam al-Muslimin, Shaykh al-Islam. What do you mean? Al-Qari al-Wahid fi hadhi al-balad. Things like that. People, they make things up they don't even know. Al-Khatib al-Wahid fi Australia. All these things what do you mean? How do you know? You've been the whole of Australia. So he's the only real Shaykh in the whole country. Well, you've met every Shaykh in the country. You've been to every city, every town, every mosque. You know everyone in Australia to say that, or every Muslim anyway. What do you mean? He's my favourite Shaykh. All right, fair enough. We're happy for you. Congratulations. Hopefully you follow what he says. So it can't be that it's embellishing. And the next part of it, وَمِنَ الْاغْتِرَارِ فِي جِهَةِ مَنْ تَثْنَ عَلَيْهِ. So that's the second part. And the second part is this, and he, the person that you praised, is safe from conceit. Al-ightirar, in other words, self-delusion. Conceit being a person, what do you mean? Of course I'm the Shaykh of Australia. What do you mean there's no one like me? Whatever the case might be. Okay? So, when we use our tongues, when we give compliments, these types of things, we've got to be careful. So everyone's looking a bit tired, so I think maybe that's enough. And then next week, inshallah, we'll continue. The Imam talks about, inshallah, Azza wa Jal, he talks about how to give a nasiha. What's the way to go about counselling somebody? What's the way to go about telling someone something about that person's life and how they can get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal? Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sallam. But before we go, it's important to remember that the Prophet of Allah in the first beginning of Rajab, which is probably about 6 or 7 days old now, maybe a little bit more, probably 7 or 8 days actually. He said, Allahumma barik lana bi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, put barakah and blessings in the month of Rajab, which is this month, and Sha'ban, which is the following month. And Ya Allah, allow us to live, allow us to experience the month of Ramadan. And the Prophet of Allah, he's alerting us, he's diverting our attention from whatever our attention's tied up with, and he's diverting our attention to the month of Ramadan. 2 months out from Ramadan. Not a day or two, not a couple of days, not a week, but 2 whole months outside the month of Ramadan is diverting our attention to that blessed month, the month of the Islamic calendar, so that, bi'idhnillah azza wa jal, we can prepare ourselves from now. And in reality, the pious people, the month of Ramadan never leaves their mind. After Ramadan, they're asking Allah accept, and some of the Salihin at 6 months after Ramadan, they're asking Allah to accept, and 6 months before Ramadan, they're saying, Allah, allow us to live these blessed days. So it's the pinnacle of our calendar. In other words, it's as it should be. Excuse me. The most celebrated, the most anticipated month of a Muslim's life every year, yani. And things that are anticipated, let's look at Christmas for example. Just as an example, like, it's do good to one's fellow human being, change one's character. That's what Christmas is about. Other than Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, irrespective of whether we accept the date or we don't, or whatever it is. Salamun alayya yawma walidtu. He says, Allah Azza wa Jalla tells him in the Qur'an, Salamu alayya. Salam from Allah Azza wa Jalla, the day he was born. Everything, we love Jesus. Great. We're happy he's born alayhi salam. He's coming back too, inshallah Azza wa Jalla. Okay, but what happens, how many weeks before Christmas do they start talking about it? Months. Beginning of November, then the shops put up their Christmas trees and tinsel and whatever else they do, nativity scenes and whatever else it is. Everyone plans for it. Everyone starts talking about it. Oh, the holidays and whatever else it is, months before it. Months. And so what about for us, that Christmas is for Christians that important time? And Ramadan is for us it's the pinnacle. Hajj also, if a person goes to Hajj. But those 2 occasions in particular, now we're talking about Ramadan, so focusing on that. So for us, we have to prepare ourselves. Some of the scholars said that, it's like planting. If you want to reap the benefits of Ramadan, in other words, you want to eat the fruits of your labors in Ramadan, you have to plow the land and water it in Rajab. And the plants will grow in Sha'ban, this next month. And then in Ramadan, you'll start to pick the fruit. So what that means is our deeds, our actions. I don't know if you've noticed for yourself, but this is the time Shaitan really starts to work on us. This is the time Shaitan starts to break us down from even how good we may have been throughout the rest of the year. Because he's going to be tied up in Ramadan. So he wants to break us now. He wants us to change our habits now. He wants us to go backwards now. So that when we go into Ramadan, all we're doing is repairing the damage we've done in these 2 months. Rajab wa Sha'ban. But if we buckle down and knuckle down, as they say, and focus on, inshallah Azza wa Jal, turning to Allah Azza wa Jal, changing our habits, improving on what we've done between this month and maybe Hajj or Ramadan, then we'll go into Ramadan bi'idhnillah Azza wa Jal already moving. And so Rajab is also from Ashhur al-Hurum. There's 4 months, they're sacred months. And one of them is Rajab. And even in Jahiliyyah, even in the times of ignorance, the Arabs, they wouldn't fight in Rajab. They used to war all the time. That was their habit. That was their hobby, if you like. It was more than a hobby, it was their way of life. Is warfare. But in Rajab, they wouldn't fight. Now some of the scholars say that's because people used to come to Umrah. And if the roads are all fighting and there's war going on, then the people can't travel safely. So it's from the sacred months. And one who does good deeds, their deeds are increased. And one who does evil deeds, the wizard, the sins are also increased in that regard. So what type of things should we be doing? And the Prophet of Allah has mentioned that Rajab, it's Shahrullah. I don't think the Prophet mentioned it, it's been said by the pious people. Rajab is the month of Allah, it's a sacred month. And Sha'ban is the month of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. And Ramadan is our month. So, the essence of turning to Allah Azza wa Jal, the essence of it is what? Tawbah. Repentance. essence of smashing the shaitan is repentance. The essence of gaining Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure is asking for husnul khatimah, is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to die in the best of states. That the day we meet Him subhanahu wa ta'ala is the day we've got the highest iman. The best day of our lives in this world. The best day of our life should be that day when we meet Allah Azza wa Jalla. We ask Him for that. Ya Allah, as'aluka husnul khatimah. Ya Allah, we ask you for an excellent demise, or an excellent seal, in other words, finish to our lives. Tawbah, repenting from whatever we said, repenting from the swearing that we do throughout the rest of the year, repenting from whatever stealing, lying, whatever things we may have done, or having bad thoughts of other people, or backbiting, or being libelous or defaming other people, or whatever it might be. Whatever it might be, praying late, not praying the prayer in its prescribed hour, whatever. And the other thing is to fast, inshallah. Because fasting is the thing that brings us closest to Allah Azza wa Jal. It's hard. It's hard fasting. It's hard on the nafs. It crushes the nafs. So fasting at least Monday and or Thursday. At least 3 days in Rajab. At minimum. Every month one should fast 3 days anyway. But if you can increase it a bit, Monday, Thursday, and alhamdulillah now it's a bit earlier, Maghrib's a bit earlier, so you can benefit from that. And istighfar, that's tied with the tawbah, astaghfirullah. Salawat ala nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Start reading the Qur'an. If you haven't been reading the Qur'an all year, now's the time to get back to the Qur'an. So inshallah azza wa jalla, when Ramadan comes, you're in the swing of things. You're into it. You're training. Like at school. When they're going to give you an exam, they give you time to study. If you don't study for the exam, doesn't matter how much rahmah is coming, doesn't matter how much dua you've made, doesn't matter how much times you've woken up in the middle of the night and prayed. You've got to know the material. You've got to be ready for it. Same if you want to lift 100 kilos or 200 kilos. You can't just go up to 200 kilos and lift it. You've got to start months and maybe even years beforehand, every day lifting 20, then 40, then 60, then 80, then 100, then 105, then 110, then 115. And the increments get less as the weight gets heavier. Because it's heavy, it's hard on the body. And no difference in Ramadan. The beginning's easy. The first 6-7 days of Ramadan, if you come 5 minutes late for Taraweeh, you're praying outside. Everyone knows that. And then middle of Ramadan, you pray first row, you come 5 minutes before time. No worries, no one's around. Later, everyone gets back into it and they say, all right, let's get ready for what's after Ramadan. So, by preparing oneself, by reading the Qur'an, by preparing oneself in that manner, then and changing one's schedule to wake up before the time of Fajr and pray tahajjud, or get to sit in that mood, get to sit in that, and when you miss one, you don't miss one, it's all right. You don't want to miss one in Ramadan. You don't want to wake up after the time of suhoor. Getting one's body ready for it. More importantly, getting one's mind ready for it. Most importantly, getting one's soul ready for it. So inshallah azza wa jalla, we ask Allah azza wa jalla to protect us inshallah from the evil of ourselves, and we ask Allah azza wa jalla to protect us from the evil of the evildoer, al-hasid, wa na'udhu billahi minhu. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us what's khair in this life and to bring us close to that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take us away from what's detrimental for us in this life. Ya Allah, we ask you to forgive us and forgive our sins and forgive the sins of the ummah of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. We ask you to make so those people, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, that give nusuh and give nasiha, those people that give counsel and those people that are sincere. We ask you, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, to make us use our tongues in a way that is beloved to you and beloved to your Prophet alayhi afdal salatu wa azka taslim. We ask you, Ya Allah, to band the hearts of the believers together so they're unified in your name, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, in your call, and they bring the bodies of the believers together so they're unified in the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. We ask you to elevate our status and elevate the status of the believers, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. We ask you to make us of those people that are true believers and have full conviction in you, Ya Allah, and make us of those people that emulate the Prophet of Allah to the best of their capacity and ability. We ask you to elevate the status of our Mashaykh and make the Prophet of Allah pleased with them, and that you're pleased with them, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. We ask you to bless this place where this class is held and those that facilitate and allow us to bring this class together. We ask you, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, to make so those people that not only listen to what they've heard but embody it and implement it in their lives. بخير ولطف وعافية وإلى حضرة النبي بسر الفاتحة